Hi, I'm Don Barry, and this is 3 Minutes Without Mike. You know, last week we finished our Connect group, and that was Max Lucado's You Were Made for This Moment. You know, I thought it was a really good study of the book of Esther, and it had great application for all of us in our lives today. After that series was over with, I had the opportunity to go online and watch Max Lucado's newest book video where he talks about it, and the title of that book is 3:16. And I'll tell you what, I was very impressed. In fact, I was so impressed that it caused me to reminisce a little bit. The year was 1967, and a young tassel-haired boy come bouncing into the sanctuary following Sunday school. He sought out this pew, or at least one that was in this location. Now back then, it didn't have nice padding, and it didn't sit at an angle, they were straight. But this was the hangout for him and his friends. He was joined here by a few of those friends, and they readied themselves for the next hour with a couple of bulletins and their pencils. Church would be a time for them to sit and draw cartoons and try to get the other person to giggle or laugh. And they would write notes back and forth to each other. Now they often got a little carried away. And when that happened, Reverend Gent would often call them out straight from the pulpit. It was pretty embarrassing, and it usually resulted in a little bit of parental discipline, sometimes during and very often after the service. But the thing about this particular morning was that it was Men's Day in this old church. That meant that the choir loft would be filled that Sunday morning with a bunch of men of the church. Now, several of them would sing solos, and several of them gave testimonies. But in particular, one man, Deacon B.J. Cranford, was in the pulpit that day. And it was on that last Sunday of March in 1967 that the world changed for three young boys. For God so loved them that he gave his only begotten Son, that if they believed in him, they would never perish, but would have everlasting life. Wow. For the first time, the scribbling of notes and the clowning around was put on hold. And when the invitation came, the short trip from this old pew to the altar was made by one, then two, then three boys. When the first one reached the altar, he was greeted by Reverend Gent. He immediately took him under his arm and he whispered, "Hallelujah. I know you were ready to make this decision, and I'm so proud you did." A week later, an almost 11-year-old Don Barry was being baptized along with two of his good friends. And the daddy of one of those friends, who was so moved by seeing his son and two other boys go forward that morning, that he decided to do the same. It was John 3:16, that wonderful verse, originally spoken by Jesus to a Pharisee named Nicodemus, who came to him under the cover of night, that spoke to me that morning. Just like Nicodemus, I understood I must be born again, because I was a sinner in need of salvation. And it started by simply taking one small step forward. Now I encourage you to read the 3rd chapter of John. And when you get to what Max Lucado calls the crown jewel of all the scriptures, John 3:16, insert your name into that verse. And then accept the great promise for your life. It can be a life-changing decision that will affect all of your eternity. Well, thanks for watching today, and please join us this Saturday at 5 p.m. or Sunday morning at 10:30 as we worship and as Pastor Mike brings a brand new message for us and starts a new series. I hope to see you then. Hope to see you soon. Thanks.